I died, choking on my own blood. The metallic tang flooding my mouth as the prison van swerved off the icy Montana road, flipping end over end into the ravine below. Betrayed by the man I called husband and the friend I'd trusted like a sister. They'd framed me for embezzlement and murder, crimes I'd never committed, pinned on me to cover their own filthy tracks. But as the world faded to black, a single, searing thought burned through the pain. This isn't over. Not by a long shot. The first thing I felt was the jolt of cold tile under my palms, not the twisted metal of the van. My eyes snapped open to a bathroom mirror in my old Greenwich Village apartment, steam curling from the shower I'd just stepped out of. It was June 15th, 2018, 7 years before the crash that ended me. My reflection stared back. Gemma Harlow, 38 years old, with the same sharp cheekbones, auburn hair damp and wild, and those green eyes that had once charmed boardrooms. But now they held the fire of a woman who danced with death and spat in its face. I'd been given a do-over. A goddamn second chance. And hell if I wasn't going to use it to burn it all down. I gripped the sink, knuckles white, my heart hammering like a jackhammer. The last life? Ruined. I'd built Harlow and Associates from nothing, a boutique law firm specializing in corporate mergers, fighting tooth and nail in the cutthroat New York scene. Victor, my husband of 12 years, the silver-tongued partner who'd swept me off my feet at Yale Law. And Elena, my best friend since freshman orientation, the one who'd held my hand through miscarriages and midnight breakdowns. They'd conspired to siphon millions from a client's pension fund, then pin the murder of that client, a whistleblower who'd caught wind on me. Evidence planted, alibis forged, my reputation shredded in the tabloids. Trial by fire, conviction by lies. I'd rotted in Supermax for 5 years before the accident on transfer. But now, I knew every dirty secret, every whispered phone call in the dark. And I was back, armed with the truth like a loaded .45. I splashed water on my face, forcing a smile that didn't reach my eyes. The hook of it all hit me then. This wasn't just revenge. It was resurrection. I'd played a long game, weaved through the boardrooms and bedrooms, exposed the rot without getting my hands too bloody. But make no mistake, Victor and Elena would pay. They'd lose everything, fortunes, freedom, the smug lives they'd built on my grave. And in the end, when the dust settled, I'd walk away clean. Or as clean as a woman reborn in fury could manage. Stepping out of the bathroom, I wrapped myself in a towel, the familiar scent of lavender soap grounding me. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. Victor's text, "Miss you already? Babe. Dinner at La Bernardine tonight?" I almost laughed. In my old life, I'd have replied with hearts and a flirty quip. Now, I typed back, "Sounds perfect. Can't wait to catch up. Catch up on how you'd fuck me over. You bastard." But patience was my new religion. I had 7 years to dismantle their empire, brick by venomous brick. The day unfolded like a twisted rerun. I hit the office early, the hum of Manhattan traffic a symphony of second chances. My assistant, Mia, a sharp kid fresh out of Fordham, handed me coffee with a grin. "Big merger with Apex today."
Gemma.
Victor's flying in from DC. Apex. That's where it started. The client whose pension fund Victor and Elena had bled dry. In my first life, I'd signed off on the docs blind, trusting them. This time, I'd rewrite the script. By noon, The conference room was a pressure cooker, suits from Apex. Victor at the head of the table in his Brooks Brothers armor. Elena video calling from Chicago. Her Botox smile flawless. Gemma. Darling. You look radiant, she purred through the screen. Radiant? I'd make her choke on that word. We dove into the numbers, projections gleaming on the projector. Handshakes, sealing the deal. But as Victor's hand brushed mine under the table, that old spark of affection flickered, warring with the hate. Don't soften, I told myself. He's the snake who smiled while slitting your throat. Post-meeting, Victor pulled me into his office, the door clicking shut.
God.
I needed this, he murmured,
Kissing my neck.
His cologne, sandalwood and lies, made my stomach twist. In bed that night, as he moved above me, I faked the moans, my mind mapping their downfall. The embezzlement trail started with a shell company in the Caymans. Elena's access codes. Victor's signatures. I'd start there. Subtle hacks.
Anonymous tips.
By morning, as he slept, I slipped out to the balcony. The city sprawled below like a conquest waiting. This was America, baby, land of the free, home of the vengeful. And I was just getting started. Weeks blurred into a calculated dance. I buried myself in work.
Charming client.
Schmoozing at galas, all while chipping away at their foundation. First move, I accidentally audited the Apex files, spotting the discrepancies before they ballooned. Victor. Honey, I said over brunch at the Polo Bar. There's a glitch in the pension transfers. Might want a loop in compliance. His fork paused midair, eyes narrowing just a fraction. You're a genius.
Gem.
I'll handle it. Handle it by burying it deeper. I knew. But I'd already copied the ledgers to an encrypted drive. My new best friend. Elena flew in for her birthday bash at the Standard, rooftop vibes. Champagne rivers. Influencers snapping pics for the gram. She air-kissed me, her diamond earrings winking like false promises. You've been distant.
Gemma.
Everything okay? Distant? I'd been plotting your demise while sipping rose. Just swamped.
Elle.
But tonight? All about you. We clinked glasses, her laughter tinkling like breaking glass. Midway through, I cornered her in the ladies' lounge, mirrors reflecting our fractured friendship. Remember that summer in the Hamptons? When we swore nothing would come between us. Her reflection faltered, just for a beat. Of course. Sisters forever.
Lies.
But that flicker? It was fear. She sensed the shift, even if she couldn't name it. As the party raged, I slipped Victor's phone from his jacket unlocked. The fool, and forwarded Elena's incriminating emails to my ghost account. Offshore wires. Coded references to Project Phoenix. Their pet name for the heist. By dawn, nursing a hangover that was mostly rage, I had the bones of their skeleton key. But revenge isn't a sprint, it's a marathon with landmines. And mine? A doozy involving the feds, the press, and a decision that'd make headlines for all the wrong reasons. Fall crept in with crisp leaves and colder calculations. The firm boomed. Apex merger closed. Bonuses flowed like the Hudson. Victor popped the question for the third ring upgrade over Lobster Thermidor at Le Cirque. Marry me again. Gem? Renewal vows in Napa?
His eyes.
That piercing blue. Begged for normalcy. Part of me, the old Gemma, ached to say yes, to pretend the future wasn't written in blood. But the new me? She whispered. Use it. Yes, I breathed, sealing it with a kiss that tasted like arsenic. The wedding planning became my Trojan horse, guest lists riddled with journalists, vendors with loose lips. Subtle leaks about irregularities in Apex's books, whispered at brunches. Elena's visits grew tense. She'd corner me in the kitchen, wine glass in hand. Victor says you're digging too deep into old files. What's up? Her voice, that affected lilt from her WASP upbringing, cracked on the edges. I smiled, stirring risotto like it was poison. Just thorough.
El
Can't be too careful in this game.
game.
That's what it was to them, monopoly with real money and lives. To me, survival. The first crack appeared in November. An anonymous tip to the SEC mine, routed through a VPN in Toronto, flagged the Cayman shells. Victor came home pale. Thai askew. Fucking regulators. They're sniffing around Apex. I poured him scotch. Hand steady. We'll fight it. Together. Together. My ass. That night, I overheard his call to Elena. She's too close. We need to accelerate. Accelerate what? The frame job. Of course. In my old life, it had been a forged email trail making me the fall guy. This time, I'd flipped the script. December brought snow and secrets. Holiday party at the firm. Tinsel and tension. I cornered a junior associate, Tim, the one who testified against me last time. Heard whispers about Elena's side gigs. I murmured over eggnog. His eyes widened. Gemma. Loyalty pays.
Tim.
Betrayal? Not so much. By New Year's, he'd slipped me a USB, voice memos of Victor and Elena plotting the whistleblower's disappearance. The murder. Chloroform in his scotch at a mediation meeting. Body dumped in the East River. Ruled suicide. My stomach roiled, but my resolve hardened to steel. Now the game turned ugly. Decisions loomed, controversial ones that'd paint me as the villain if they backfired. Leak to the press now. And I'd be collateral. Wait. And risk them striking first. I chose the middle path, anonymous posts on financial forums. Seeding doubt. Harlow and Associates, Heroes or House of Cards? Threads exploded. Shares dipped. Victor raged in our brownstone, pacing like a caged wolf. Who the hell is stirring this shit? I feigned concern, curling into him on the couch. We'll weather it.
Beak.
We always do. But we didn't. January 2019, FBI raid on the office. Agents in windbreakers. Badges flashing. Hauling boxes. Elena, arrested at O'Hare. Her mugshot viral by noon. Victor, cuffed in our foyer. Spitting venom. This is you, isn't it? You bitch. The truth hit him like a freight train. I'd orchestrated it all. Piecing their puzzle against them.
No.
Darling, I whispered as they dragged him away. This is karma. Interrogations dragged. I lawyered up. Played the shocked wife. Leaks I'd planted painted me clean, the diligent partner who'd tried to warn them. Media frenzy. Corporate betrayal. How two power players doomed their own empire. Twist 1. The whistleblower? Victor's bastard son from an affair. Hidden for years. Elena knew. Used it as leverage. My Cy Lamb in the old life? Covering for Victor's infidelity. Blind to the rot. Trial season hit like a blizzard. I testified. Voice steady. Eyes on the jury, blue-collar folks from Queens. Hating Wall Street wolves. They used me. Trusted me. Gasps.
Headlines.
Victor's defense crumbled under my evidence. Elena folded. Plea deal for immunity. But the real twist? In the old life, I died innocent. Here, I uncovered my buried sin. Years ago, I'd shredded a memo on Apex risks to protect the firm.
Complicity.
It gnawed. But I owned it, confessed in a tell-all op-ed. Spinning redemption. Controversial? Hell yes. Feminists hailed me. Cynics called me opportunist. Tension peaked in the sentencing. Victor, 25, to life for murder. Elena, 15 for fraud. As the gavel fell, our eyes met, his broken, mine triumphant. Spring thawed the city.
And me.
Firm rebranded. Gemma Harlow LLC. Clients flocked. TED Talk offers poured in. But victory tasted bittersweet. No kids. No Victor, just echoes. One night, alone in the brownstone, I poured scotch and raised a glass to the ghost of old Gemma. You did good, kid. Then I sold it all, penthouse, Porsche, the life. Flew to Hanoi, Vietnam, on a whim. Rice paddies, street foe, chaos without the cutthroat. No revenge left to chase. Just rebirth. Real this time. Yet as I sipped BIA Hoy under lantern light.
A tekst finget, Elena.
From prison. You win. But you lost us all. I deleted it. Smiling. Worth it? Every damn drop of blood.
Sweat.
And second chance. The Hanoi sun beat down like a forgiving hammer as I wander the old quarter. The air thick with motorbike exhaust and the sizzle of grilled pork from hidden stalls. It had been 6 months since the trial, since I'd torched my old life and scattered the ashes over the Pacific. Vietnam wasn't escape, it was exhale. No boardrooms breathing down my neck. No whispers of that backstabbing bitch trailing me like smoke. Just me, Gemma Harlow, 39 going on infinite, learning to haggle for silk scarves and dodging potholes on a rented scooter. But even paradise has its ghosts. And mine? They were persistent sons of bitches. Back in the States, the fallout had rippled like a stone in the Hudson. My op-ed, Confessions of a Corporate Survivor, went viral, racking up 1 million shares before breakfast. CNN wanted interviews. The Atlantic begged for a series.
I turned him down flat.
Let the vultures pick at the carcass. Victor rotted in Sing Sing, his appeals denied faster than a bad merger. Elena? She lawyered up with my old contacts. But her plea left her twisting in the wind. Federal time in Alderson. That pink-collar hellhole for white-collar crooks. Their empires? Auctioned off. Bones picked clean by opportunistic funds.
And me?
The controversial queen. Feminists crowned me for exposing the boys' club. Wall Street whispered I was a snake who'd eat her own tail. Fair enough. I'd made choices, leaks that skirted legality, testimonies laced with half-truths. But in the Game of Thrones, you play or you perish. The real hook, though, that buried secret I'd confessed. The memo I'd shredded in 15, burying Apex red flags to save the firm and my marriage. Complicity, they called it. In therapy sessions via Zoom, yeah, even expats crack sometimes. I'd unpack it, fear of losing Victor, of the firm folding like a bad hand. But rebirth strips you bare. Here, amid the chaos of Hanoi's markets, I forgave the old Gemma. Not fully, Scars don't fade that easy, but enough to sleep without the nightmares of ravines and restraints. One evening, as cicadas screamed their symphony, I met Lon at a faux joint off Hangback. She was a local fixer, mid-30s, sharp as a switchblade, with a Yale MBA and a grudge against expat arrogance. We'd bonded over bad Vietnamese from Duolingo. She corrected my tones while I bought her rounds of rice wine. "You run from ghosts, Gemma?" she asked, slurping noodles like wisdom. I chuckled, the burn of chili chasing the question.
Nah.
Chasing peace. Big difference.
Lies.
Both ways. Truth? A package had arrived that week, forwarded from New York. No sender. Inside, a thumb drive and a note in Victor's scrawl. "You think you won?"
Watch.
Heart pounding. I'd plugged it in at an internet cafe, the screen flickering to life with grainy footage.
Me?
In our brownstone kitchen. 2017. Arguing with Victor, the argument, the one that planted the seed for their frame. But edited, spliced clips making it look like I'd suggested silencing the whistleblower. Deepfake bullshit. But convincing. Time-stamped pre-crash. If leaked, parole boards, civil suits, my fragile piece in shreds. Twist. I thought.
Bilirsin.
They'd plan contingencies, even from bars. I didn't panic. Panics for the first life. Instead, I called in favors, old firm contacts, now wary allies. Forensics confirmed the fake. Metadata screams forgery. But Victor's play? Desperation. Pure and vile. He'd smuggled it out via a guard, aiming to drag me back into the mud. Controversial decision time. Expose it. And I martyr myself again. Ignore it. And he simmers. Plotting round two. I chose neither. Mailed copies to his warden. Anonymous. Tamper with evidence? Enjoy solitary. Crickets after that.
Peace.
Reclaimed. Lon became my anchor. Her stories of deux moi reforms mirroring my own reinvention. We started a venture. Ethical consulting for Western firms eyeing Vietnam. No pensions to pilfer. Just supply chains scrubbed clean. Profits rolled and modest. But the thrill?
Pure.
No betrayals. Just barters. Yet tension simmered. Dreams of the ravine returned. Colder now. Laced with what-ifs. What if I'd never shredded that memo? What if trust hadn't been the original sin? Summer monsoons hit like Judgment Day, turning streets to rivers. I holed up in my rented villa. A colonial relic with creaky fans and mosquito nets like veils. That's when the call came, blocked number. Elena's voice. Tinny through the line. "Gemma?
It's me.
Collect from prison."
The bitch.
I almost hung up.
What?
"No, fuck you first." Her laugh cracked. Hollow.
Fair.
"Look,
I need to tell you something.
before I lose the chance." Secrets. Always more layers. Like an onion dipped in acid. She spilled. The whistleblower wasn't just Victor's bastard. He was mine too. A one-night lapse in Vegas. 09, pre-marriage.
Post-breakup.
Victor knew. Buried it with NDAs and payoffs. Used the kid as leverage when the heist soured. He threatened to out him unless I helped with the frame, she whispered. Your son,
Gemma.
Tommy Reyes. Lives in Brooklyn. Mechanic. Clean life. My world tilted.
Assault?
Buried deeper than any Cayman account. Rage and grief collided, stolen years. A boy raised without me because of their games. I booked the red-eye to JFK. Storm clouds chasing the plane. New York hit like a slap. Honks. Steam from grates.
The old hunger gnawing.
Tommy's shop in Bed-Stuy, grease monkeys and hip-hop thumps. He was 16 now. Lanky with my eyes and Victor's jaw. Wiping his hands on a rag, he eyed me wary. Help you.
Tommy.
I'm Gemma. Your mom. The wrench clattered. Disbelief. Then fury. Bullshit. My mom's Maria Reyes. Died in childbirth. Dad said. Lies upon lies. Victor's final gift. We talked for hours, over stale coffee in a diner. Rain lashing windows. DNA test confirmed it. Court docs from the payoff surfaced. He'd silenced Maria, too. Payoffs for silence. Tommy hated me at first, you abandoned me, but layers peeled. I showed him the drive, the trials, the rebirth. I didn't know.
Kid.
But I do now. Controversial? Adopting a teen ghost at 39. Dragging him to Vietnam? The tabloids would feast. Revenge widow steals killer's son. But fuck, M. He came anyway.
Visa stampede.
Anger thawing on the flight. Back in Hanoi. Tension peaked. Lon welcomed him with street food and sarcasm. He fixed her Vespa. Earning grins. But Victor's shadow loomed. A letter smuggled. He's mine.
Fight me.
Prison taunts. But potent. I sued for custody. International mess. Headlines screaming custody war. Femme fatale versus felon. Courts waffled. Media polarized. Feminists empowerment. Conservatives homewrecker. The strain? Brutal. Sleepless nights. Tommy's doubts flaring. What if he's right? What if I'm just collateral? Chow Treo brewed in a virtual hearing, me in Hanoi. Victor via video from Sing Sing. Eyes wild. She's poisoning him. Your Honor, I raised that boy.
Lies.
Tommy testified. Voice steady. You raised me on secrets. She's giving truth. Gavel fell. Full custody. Mine. Victor's scream echoed through the feed. Raw.
Broken.
Twist complete. The frame wasn't just greed. It was paternity panic. Protecting his legacy by erasing mine. Fall brought festivals. Lanterns lighting our villa like hope. Tommy enrolled in school. Wrenching less. Laughing more. Lon and I expanded the firm, ethical audits booming.
Me?
I wrote the book, Reborn in the Boardroom. Bestseller raw with the ravine. The revenge. The redemption. Controversial claims?
Plenty.
Accusations of vigilantism. Of playing God with fates. But sales soared. Speaking gigs followed. America debated. I thrived. One dusk. As we three grilled fish by the Red River, Tommy clinked a soda to my beer. Thanks,
Mom.
for the do-over. I swallowed hard. Ghosts fading. Betrayal's sting dulled to scar. Victor? A footnote.
Elena?
Echo. This, family forged in fire, was the real win. Rebirth wasn't just revenge. It was rewriting the end. The Red River murmured secrets as the sun dipped low, painting the water in strokes of crimson and gold. Tommy flipped the fish with a practice flick, the sizzle mingling with Land's laughter and the distant call of street vendors hawking their wares. Moments like this, simple, unscripted, felt like stolen treasure. After the custody dust settled, life in Hanoi had woven us into its chaotic tapestry. Tommy aced his English classes at the international school, his Brooklyn edge softening into a hybrid cool that charmed the local kids. Lon and I, our firm, now dubbed Harlalon Ethics, scored a contract auditing Nike's supply chains. Ironic, given my old life peddling corporate snake oil. Profits funded a proper house, tiled courtyard, mango tree heavy with fruit. Peace, closer than I'd dared dream. But tension, that old friend, never fully packs its bags. It started with the emails. Anonymous at first, routed through proxies in Moscow and Mumbai. You think it's over. Gemma, the boys next. Attached, photos of Tommy at school. Grainy shots from a scooter idling curbside. Stalking? Or worse, Victor's reach. Tendrils snaking from his cell block. I'd beefed up security, cameras. A local PI named Duke with a mustache like a broom and eyes like lasers. Ex-KGB tricks, he grunted. Scanning the metadata. Prison smuggler. Your ex-husband pays guards in commissary cash. Rage simmered. Hot and familiar. The man who'd framed me for murder now eyed my son like a chess piece. Controversial urge. Fly back. Confront him in the visitor's room. Spit in his face. But no, smarter plays. I forwarded the threats to his warden. CCING the feds. Extortion from inside? Add it to the ledger. Tommy noticed the shift. Of course. Teens smell fear, like shark's blood. Mom, what's with the ninja stares? We'd taken to nightly walks along Hon Kim Lake. Turtles sunning on logs. Pagodas glowing under lanterns. I hedged. Old business. Nothing you need to worry. He stopped. Hands in pockets. That jaw, Victor's. Damn, it set firm. I'm not a kid anymore. That drive you showed me? The trial vids? I get it. Bad guys don't quit. Wisdom from wreckage. We talked then, really talked. About Maria. The woman who'd raised him on ramen and resilience. Gone too soon from cancer Victor's payoffs couldn't touch. About my shredded memo. The complicity that haunted. You fixed it, he said. That's what matters. Forgiveness from a 16-year-old? Worth more than any verdict. Land's take was blunter. Over kanji at dawn. American men, always the drama. In Vietnam, we cut ties clean. Like bad fish. Her grin was infectious. But worry etched her eyes. Our firm was thriving. But leaks from the States painted me as the villain du jour. Ex-lawyer's revenge spree threatens global trade. Fox News spun it as liberal overreach. CNBC as capitalist sabotage.
Client Wavert d'Adidas Pouldankiri.
Tension coiled. Push back with PR. Or let it burn.
Eat chose fire.
Dropped a podcast bombshell. Revenge unfiltered. Dishing dirt on Victor's affairs. Elena's coke-fueled deals. Listeners devoured it. 10 million downloads week 1. Controversial? Sponsors fled. Fans flocked. I leaned in, turning infamy to fuel. October typhoon season battered us. Winds howling like banshees. Floods swallowing streets. Hold up. I dove into the book revisions. Chapters bleeding with raw edges. The ravine scene? Amped for drama. The van screech. My screams muffled by cuffs. The final flip into oblivion. Editors quibbled. Too graphic.
Fuck no.
It was truth. Unvarnished. Tommy read drafts, nodding at the betrayal arcs. Like a movie. But real. real enough to scar. Then the twist uncoiled, sly as a python. Duke's report landed midstorm. The stalker? Not Victor. Elena's half-sister. Carla, a Jersey hairdresser with a grudge and a record for petty fraud. Victor had sicked her post-sentencing, promising a cut of his appeal windfall. But deeper dig, Carla was the whistleblower's aunt, the one Victor's suicide, robbed of justice. Payoff gone wrong. She'd been in on the cover-up, then double-crossed. My frame? Collateral in their family feud. Layers upon lies. I confronted her via burner call. Voice steel. Back off, Tommy, or your sister's deal unravels. Perjury charges? Fun times. Silence. Then a hiss. You destroyed us.
No. Carla.
Greed did. Walk away. She did, threats ceased, duck-tailing her flight back east. Relief washed like post-typhoon sun, but the Chow Trio loomed larger. Book launch in Saigon, glitzy affair at the Rex Hotel. Expats and diplomats toasting my triumph. I keynote. Revenge isn't closure. It's catalyst. Applause thundered. But midway, a heckler, American suit, red-faced, shouted, "Vigilante, you rigged the game."
Planted?
Or genuine hate. Chaos erupted. Mics grabbed. Fists clenched. Security hauled him out. Whispers followed me to the bar.
Lon.
Ever the Rock. Poured cognac.
Ignore.
Haters fuel the fire.
Tommy.
Wide-eyed in the crowd. Hugged me later. You slayed. Mom.
Slayed.
Past tense.
Forward now.
November brought Thanksgiving. Our version. Turkey from an import shop. Sticky rice. And stories. Tommy carved.
Lan play et budit si tai.
Gratitude flowed. For the do-over. The family stitched from strife. But Victor's shadow flickered. A smuggled note via Carla. The boy's blood?
Mine.
Test proves it.
Panic spiked.
Duke rushed a rush DNA, mine and Victor's. Pulled from custody files. Results. 99.9% Tommy's dad. A nameless donor from that Vegas blur. Victor's bluff. Desperate to claw back control. I laughed. Tears salting the turkey. Bastards grasping air. Winter crept gentle in the tropics. Christmas lights twinkling on banyan trees. The firm boomed. UN contract for sustainable trade. Tommy dated a local girl. Shy smiles over bubble tea.
Me?
A quiet romance bloomed with Mark. A French aid worker, bearded. Kind.
No skeletons.
Slow.
Tentative.
Trust rebuilt brick by brick. Yet the final tension peaked in spring 2020, pandemic whispers from the West turning to roars. Borders slammed, Hanoi locked down. Our villa became fortress. Masks. Dooms. Fear's cold grip. Victor's appeals hearing went virtual. I testified remotely. Face calm on split screen. He's a manipulator. Your Honor. From cradle to cage. His eyes bored through pixels. Hate distilled. Verdict denied. His scream? Muted. But I felt it. Twists echo, in lockdown haze. Elena reached out again, letter.
Contrite.
I was wrong. Tommy's lucky. Forgive?
No.
But understanding? A sliver. Her half of the heist funded a clinic for abused women. Ironic penance. I donated anonymously. Closing the circle. By monsoon's end, vaccines trickled, life unfurled. Book hit NYT list, speaking tour virtual. Then live. Controversial still. Debates on revenge ethics. My methods dissected on podcasts. I owned it. America's arena. I fought dirty because they did. Audiences split. I stood taller. One Lantern Festival. Releasing glowing orbs over the river. Tommy turned. Regret anything? The old ghosts?
Faint.
Only the time lost. But we got now. Lon linked arms. Mark squeezed my hand. Reborn. Revenged. Redeemed. The end?
Not be kick, but bomb.
A second life. Richly earned. Monsoon rains had surrendered to the relentless Hanoi heat, turning the air into a steamy embrace that clung like regret. 2 years post-lockdown, and the world had cracked open again, borders porous, flights humming, my life a mosaic of mended pieces. Tommy, now 18, straddled worlds, Hanoi high school grad eyeing NYU film. His scripts laced with betrayal plots that hit too close. Lon and I, partners in every sense, business booming with ESG audits for tech giants. Our office, a converted French villa buzzing with interns. Mark, steady. His aid work syncing with mine, weekends trekking Sapa's rice terraces. His quiet strength the counter to my storm. Peace wasn't absence of tension, it was tension tamed, woven into growth. But Victor? That festering wound scourged. His appeals exhausted. He'd turned scribe, letters smuggled, poetic venom dripping. You'll never escape me.
Gemma.
We're bloodbound. Delusions of grandeur. Or genuine haunt. Duke monitored, feds watched. Controversial whisper, end it. Poison the well with a final leak, his prison dalliances. Guard bribes. But no. Mercy wasn't weakness, it was mastery. I filed them away. Fuel for the sequel brewing in my laptop. The real Chow Treo brewed in summer 22. When Tommy's acceptance letter arrived, NYU Tisch. Full ride. Pride swelled. But dread nipped. Return to the viper's nest? Go. I urged over foe. Chopsticks pausing. Conquer it. But no homes here. His grin. My eyes in his face. We conquer together? We did family summit with Lon and Mark plotting visits. Safety nets. Yet as he packed, an envelope slipped under the gate. Grainy photo of us at the lake. Circled in red. Back in New York. He pays. Carla again? Or Victor's ghost hand? Duke traced it to a Jersey P.O. box. Elena's doing? Post-release. She'd served 8. Paroled early for good behavior. That clinic her halo. Desperate for relevance. She'd allied with Victor's fantasies. Aiming to reclaim Tommy as leverage for her own appeals. Twist upon twist, her letters revealed the deepest bury, the embezzlement, funded a black market adoption ring. Elena's side hustled trafficking kids for elite clients. The whistleblower, Tommy's bio-dad kin, had stumbled on it. My frame? Covering a global sin. Controversial as hell, human lives commodified in boardroom shadows. Rage ignited, but calculated. I didn't go lone wolf. Coalition time. Tipped Interpol anonymously. My ethics firm consulting on the audit trail. Raids hit New York warehouses, Hanoi safe houses. Elena snatched at a Jersey diner. Mid-bagel, Carla flipped for immunity. Victor? Solitary again. His partner exposed. Media maelstrom. Revenge architect uncovers adoption horror.
Me?
Reluctant hero. Testifying in closed sessions. Voice steady. They profited on pain. I profited on truth. Feminists roared, skeptics sneered, opportunist strikes again. Tension? Electric. Threats poured, burned effigies online, doxed addresses. Duke's team tripled. Mark's arms my shield. Tommy deferred NYU a semester. Standing ground. Not leaving you to this shit show. We hunkered, virtual classes.
Fortified villa.
But the strain cracked us. Arguments over risks. My overprotectiveness clashing his independence. You're treating me like a pawn, he yelled one night. Rain lashing windows. I broke, because I lost you once. Without knowing. Tears. Hugs. The raw glue of family. Chow Treo crested in a federal hearing. Virtual again. Elena's face gaunt on screen. Victor patched in from the hole. Gemma orchestrated this witch hunt, she wailed. Eyes wild. I countered. Evidence unspooling. Ledgers. Witness, vids. The ring's ledgers tying their heist to cribs. Judge's gavel. Indictments sealed. Extraditions for Elena. Victor's life sentence. Etched stone. His final glare? Defeat.
Pure.
You win, he mouthed.
No.
Survival. Twists coda, in the raid files. A photo, Tommy as infant. Auction tag pending. Elena's gift to Victor. Leverage unborn. He'd rejected it. But the scar? Eternal. Tommy process quiet. Therapy bridging gaps. Explains the nightmares, he admitted. Healing. Slow burn. Fall 22 brought harvest. NYU beckoned. Tommy jetting with promises of FaceTimes. Lon and I expanded. Satellite office in Saigon. Training locals on ethics. Mark proposed under the mango tree. Simple ring. Eternal vow. I said yes. Tears salting yes. Wedding? Small. Beachside Da Nang. Waves crashing like applause. Book 2 dropped. Shadows of the Second Chance. Deeper dive. Adoption horrors anonymized but gut punch real. Bestseller again. Controversies flaring. Ethics panels debated my methods. TED stage I owned. Revenge? Catalyst for justice. But justice demands cost. Audiences split. Half heroes. Half heretics. I thrived in the gray. By 23, Tommy directed his first short, Ravine Echoes. Ravine metaphor for buried pasts. Sundance nod, proud tears at premiere. Elena? Life in Supermax. Her clinic shuttered. Victor? Forgotten. Appeals dust. One Hanoi dusk. For years post-rebirth. We gathered, Tommy home for break. Lawn toasting with rice wine. Mark grilling. Lanterns bobbed, river sang. To do-overs, Tommy raised glass. I clinked, heartful. Betrayal's echo, faint hum. Secrets unearthed. Sins atoned. Controversial path?
Mine. But the end?
Blissfully open. Reborn. I walked into sunsets unbroken. America's drama behind, Asia's rhythm ahead. Vengeance complete. Life finally mine.